At some point, I stopped asking what I wanted to do with my life and started asking what life actually is. My name is Jiho, and I'm applying from Canada. That question is what brought me here. I spent a long time looking at university programs that asked me to choose economics, philosophy, or science, as if the word divides it that cleanly. But it really doesn't, and I don't think that way. UCG's structure matches how I actually think. A small cohort, seminar-based learning, and no forced specialization from day one. I'm not looking for a program that hands me a framework. Rather, I'm looking for one that forced me to build my own and defend it in a room full of people who will push back. That's not what I'll get at a larger institution such as VU Amsterdam or Erasmus. Although they're really nice schools, I think Groningen is the only Dutch institution where the residential model means the intellectual work doesn't stop when class ends. So it continues at dinner in the hallways with the same 150 people I'm studying with. That environment for me is deliberate, not a compromise. So there are 3 courses in the UCG catalog that caught my attention, and each one connects to the same underlying question I kept returning to, which is what actually drives human behavior, and can we know which one it is? So first program is philosophy of mind. I've spent a lot of time sitting with a uncomfortable idea that there may be no fixed self. What I call me is a consecutive output of past memory and genetic programmings. So the ego, this obsession with being distinct, being someone, produces more suffering than it resolves. I want to study this rigorously, not just intuitively. Empirical political economy is the second one. It's because I do not believe pure economic theory exists. Every major economic moment in history has been shaped by political interest. I want to study the intersection empirically to test assumptions against what actually happened, not just what models predict. And lastly, clinical neuropsychology. This one actually is a bit more strategic. If human behavior is my central interest, let's say, understanding what's happening at the neurological level isn't a detour. It's the foundation. How people make decisions, how they respond to incentives, how the brain underlies what we call choice or decision. That knowledge applies almost everywhere, so these 3 aren't really random. I chose it because the 3 angles come to the same question. So there was a period where I genuinely felt my life had no meaning, and not as an abstract philosophical fancy problem, but as a daily basis life. So I started looking at paintings. I read Nietzsche, Frankl, Marcus Aurelius, started writing, and slowly realized that meaning isn't something you find. It's something you construct repeatedly with full knowledge that it won't last forever. I wrote an essay on this about mortality, impermanence, and whether a life can be said to have mattered. The title was Will You Have Been Alive? It's the question I'm still really working on. Aside of that, I've served as Deputy Prime Minister in my school's student government, not because I wanted a title, but really because I wanted to understand how people organize, disagree, and still move forward. I play poker, not for money, of course, but for what it teaches about decision making under uncertainty and about reading the gap between what people say and what they actually do. So, all of it points back to the same thing. I want to understand what it means to be a human and person, and I think UCG is where I want to do that work. I really don't know what I exactly will become, but I know the questions I want to spend the next 3 years asking, and I know this is the right place to ask them. Thank you.